ground level, talking to some representatives here, and quite a crowd now. It's starting to fill in, Jasmine. We got here probably maybe 8 o'clock this morning, so a little bit earlier than a lot of folks arriving. You can still see in the distance security folks coming through, and those 200, 300 seats down there with those red blankets are starting to fill up.
Yeah, people are slowly taking their seats here this morning in front of the Capitol. And as you said earlier, we have a whole team out here. We just heard from Aaron Davis. Now we're going to check in with Bethany Davis. She's out a little further down the street from us where the parade will roll soon this morning. Bethany, what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, so we are at the corner of Dexter Avenue and Perry Street. This is the official start of the inauguration parade. We understand that all the floats are going to be lined up at Crampton Bowl. They're going to make their way down Monroe, and then they're going to make a little turn right here. It's actually the wrong way at Perry Street, but there's no traffic. Everything's blocked off to traffic, so we don't have to worry about it. And then the entire parade will make this turn right here up Dexter Avenue and go all the way to the Capitol. We know it's going to start with the governor, and then there are a number of parades. Our alma mater, Auburn University band will be marching in the parade along with the University of Alabama. The Troy marching band will be here. South Alabama marching band will be here. There are a number of Alabama A&M, a number of high school bands will be performing in this parade. So this is going to be a really exciting time. We do expect a number of people, once the ceremony is over, to start filling in the gaps here along the way. But this is a great vantage point right here. If you're coming to see the parade, this would be the spot, because we can see it coming towards us, and then we can see it as it's heading up the hill and leaving away from us. There are 57 entrants in the parade this year. That's a little smaller than normal. In fact, just looking back over some of the years, 8 years ago, so 2 inaugurations ago, there were more than 300 entrants in the parade. So this one not quite as big. Not sure what the draw was 8 years ago versus this year, but much smaller. It couldn't even be the weather, because we couldn't have ordered up a better weather day. I know it was really cold this morning. I don't know where you guys are sitting, but the sun is coming up and shining and really warming things up down on this corner. I have to imagine by the time the ceremony gets started at 10 o'clock, it's going to be quite pleasant. And then we expect this parade to start around noon. This should be very delightful out here, guys.
I got gloves and I'm bundled up, and I see a few other people are bundled up as well this morning. Got the blankets out, got the layers, but the sun is shining. It's not raining, so no complaints on that end.
I think I recall it was 4 years ago, the last time we did this pre-pandemic, that it was windy and rainy and misting. So yeah, we'll take this. Let's check in with meteorologist Tyler Seabury right now, who's holding things down in the studio for us. And Tyler, you know, meteorologists like you and myself notice when the ISO bars are packed tight together, it's really windy. Those ISO bars are spread apart today. Not too bad. Huh.
You know, I love the ISO bar talk. It's always one of those fun topics. Yeah, not windy. The sun is shining. It's not super cold now. I mean, for a day like this in mid-January in Alabama, as we've already seen this month, you can get a lot of different weather types. So we'll take a day like this for sure. This is the view from atop the tallest tower in downtown, the RSA Tower. You can see the weather we're dealing with in downtown Montgomery today. Very, very nice. I know this morning it was very cold, don't get me wrong, but look at the improvement we've had. It's now 9:44, and we're looking at temperatures across the area that are up in the 40s now, heading toward 50 in many spots. So the warm-up is on, and it will continue for the rest of the morning and into the afternoon. I think these 40s will turn into mid-60s by 2, 3 o'clock for your high temperature. Right around noon, probably right around 60 for the parade here. So we're doing the right thing temperature-wise. We're going up, guys, and it stays dry, stays quiet. The sun will continue to shine through those clouds. Not a bad MLK Inauguration Day at all whatsoever. But we've got more to talk about in terms of rain chances coming up, and we will do just that in just a bit, guys.
All right, Tyler, thank you. For this time of year, we couldn't really ask for much more. I mean, remember around Christmas time, we were in the single digits with the wind chill. I couldn't imagine being out here doing something like this on a day like today. So, hey, we will take the little bit of a breeze and the sunshine, only getting it warmer as we get closer to the official inauguration ceremony.
Yeah, the sun shining makes for a beautiful backdrop here at the Capitol on this Inauguration Monday, MLK Monday. And we'll be right back with our special coverage right here at WSFA. on this Inauguration Day, MLK Monday here in downtown Montgomery, right here in front of the historic state capitol. Crowd slowly coming in, taking their seats. If you can see these seats behind us, they're red. Those are actually red blankets with Governor Kay Ivey's name on it. Also the red carpet coming down from the state capitol, and then the state flag. That music you just heard was from the National Guard band. A crowd out here, and our whole team out here this morning, Judd.
Along with the blankets, too, we saw some hand warmers as well. I don't think those are going to be needed by the time this thing gets going a little bit later on today. There's also a program as well for folks who can keep up with what's going on. We mentioned we have 3 different reporters up Dexter Avenue. We checked in with Bethany Davis and Aaron Davis. Let's maybe move away from the Davis team and move over to WSFA 12 News anchor Sally Pitts, who's close by as well. Sally, what's going on there?
You know, this is an exciting day here in Alabama, and you can feel that excitement building as we get closer to the start of the ceremony. There are a lot of officials here at the state and local level. I want to bring in Montgomery County Commissioner Rhonda Walker, along with her daughter, Margaret. Why is today important to you, both as an elected official, but also as an Alabamian?
As an Alabamian, we are honored to be here to see the swearing in of the governor, lieutenant governor, et cetera. This is part of history. And not only is it part of history, but it's important for today that we have this easy transfer of power, and we have our leaders in charge and running the state. Like we saw last week, how desperately we need good leaders. So it's exciting to be here today to see them being sworn in.
It is a historic day for Alabama. This pomp and circumstance only happens once every 4 years. Why did you want to bring your daughter to see this firsthand?
Not only is it fun and exciting, but it's important for our children to understand their role in civic leadership and in civic duty, and they have that. And even at 14, I want my daughter to see this is what giving back to your community looks like, and to see a female governor being sworn in. She's also an Alpha Gamma Delta sister, so it's really an honor. But I'm proud that my daughter can be here today to experience this moment.
We talked about being the mother of a daughter, that we want to show them that your dreams can come true, but also to work hard and to serve your community. Margaret, what does it mean to you to be here today at 14 years old?
I'm just so excited to be here and witness this amazing part of Alabama history.
Yeah, the next time there's one of these, you'll be 18. You will be able to vote in Alabama.
Wow, it's crazy. I'll be excited.
Yes. And I know you were excited to have her here. I know she's been at county commission meetings with you before.
And she's currently the president of her 8th grade class. So I think this younger generation, this Gen Z group gets it. They get that we need to work hard. We need to be involved. We need to speak up. If we want to see something change, they can be that catalyst for change. And I think they're learning that at a young age.
What do you hope to hear from our elected officials today?
We are thankful that Alabama is governed the way it is. We've been through a lot the past few years, and to have strong conservative leadership is critical. So I want to hear that continue. I want to hear the values that I hold dear, my core values that have always been emulated from this administration. I want to hear that today, because as I continue to raise my family in the state of Alabama, I want that to reflect our family values.
You know, a lot of kids are out of school today. Your daughter's out of school today. They would not choose to come do this. As she sits there and she too listens to those speeches, what do you want her to take from it?
You know, and she jumped at the chance. She's been away at church camp all weekend, but she got up early this morning and jumped at the chance to be here. I want her to see what leadership looks like, to hear again the conservative ideals that we are going to make sure to be responsible with the money that we have, to take care of our citizens, to protect our citizens. So I mostly want her to realize that she can be a part of this, not in 20 years, but now, today, she can go ahead and get involved.
And the decisions these elected officials will be making over the next few years will impact her future.
They will. Yes, they will. It's critical. The legislature, the governor, the Supreme Court, which is right behind us, it impacts us every single day. And as a local official on the county commission, I just want to continue to encourage people to get involved. Get to know your city council person, your county commissioner. Get to know your local legislative representatives. Attend meetings. They want you to email them. They want you to get to know them so you can have good conversations. It's not enough just to gripe on social media, but actually build relationships and have real conversations, because these are all real people, and that's one of the big takeaways for today.
Get involved. Rhonda Walker, Margaret, thank you both so much for being here. We hope you enjoy your day.
Thank you very much.
And I spoke to another young family from Boaz, that's north of Birmingham. A mother brought her 2 young children, ages 7 and 4, to come witness this as well. She said she also wanted them to see Alabama history play out. Jasmine and Judd.
All right, Sally, thank you for that. We're seeing more and more people start to file in. Of course, we mentioned the metal detectors. Folks are coming into these seats with red blankets, but off in the distance, Jasmine, you can see as well, folks lined up behind the barricades, people trying to get a good vantage point and a good view to see the inauguration. That ceremony is expected to last anywhere from 70 to 90 minutes, depending on how long some of the speakers go. And after that, they'll take a little bit of time to clear off some of these chairs, and then the parade will start down at the other end of Dexter where Bethany is.
And you can hear the passion there. You can see the little kids in a distance. They're getting ready, and we're going to see that passion on full display as people get sworn in for the first time, and some people are re-sworn in here this morning.
Yeah, they're getting close right now. We can hear some of the announcements in the background. Like any of these huge ceremonies, there will be a military flyover. That's set to happen around 58 after 9 o'clock, so we will be on the air. When that happens, hopefully the jets from the 187th Fighter Wing should come right over the Capitol building, the F-16s, and fly down Dexter Avenue. And I don't know about you, but something about those flyovers, every time I see them, they're
It's always an exciting time. Always sets the scene for a really big event here in our state.
We have much more on our special coverage of the inauguration 2023 coming up after this short break. Stay with us.
Are most problematic about somebody in our life.
Ladies and gentlemen, in just a few moments, the Alabama National Guard's 187th Fighter Wing, home of the Red Tails, will pass over the Capitol in celebration of today's inaugural ceremony. Please turn your attention skyward.
ceremony happening right here at the state capitol. You can hear that's the National Guard band they're playing behind us.
Yeah, lots of activities and events going on during the inauguration and after it as well. We have a parade that will start about 40 minutes after, but the inauguration will start. Numerous state officers being sworn in. We will go all the way up into Gov Ivey. Each of those state officers are expected to speak 5-6 minutes each. Governor Ivey has allotted about 20 minutes, but she's the governor, so she can go as long as she wants to if she wants to. But she's scheduled to speak for around 20 minutes this morning as kind of outlining what she hopes to do in the next 4 years in office. And Jasmine, like you mentioned, lots of these folks are coming into their second term, so they've done this before. But we have a few folks here, it's their first time ever as well being inaugurated.
And they're very excited. The governor actually kicked off this morning this day with a prayer service at her home church, First Baptist in Montgomery. She's also going to have a gala and several events later on this evening, so a full day for her and several of our elected officials. And there you go.
That's something else. Every time it gets me. That is awesome.
And that was the official flyover. I think it was set to officially start at 9:58.
F-16s flying overhead, and that's just a beautiful sight as they are now leaving our site right now. They get in and get out pretty quickly. We're going to join this ceremony in just a few minutes and kind of listen in. It should last for 75-80 minutes, somewhere in that time frame, as we hear from all the people being sworn into office. We do want to let you know, though, that we will be here for you after the ceremony as well. That parade is set to start around noon. We have reporters all up and down Dexter Avenue. Our Bethany Davis is way down by Perry Street and the Fountain. Our Sally Pitts is across the street, not too far by, and Aaron Davis, our political reporter, is also pretty close by as well. So we have this thing fully staffed up and down Dexter Avenue. It's always fun, too, when the parade starts to get to see some of the little kids who come out for the day. And looking at the list of participants, it's a smaller number than usual with about 60, but some bands, college bands, which are fun.
That travel from all over the state to participate in this big day, this historic day. For a lot of those kids, it's their first inauguration ceremony. Probably haven't even heard of an inauguration ceremony, but it really sets the tone for them to get excited about this. Sally interviewed someone she's 14,
yes.
I think she said, and by the time the next inauguration ceremony rolls around, she'll be voting. She'll be 18 years old.
Yeah, it's fun to see the kids come out and experience this. And on a day like today, because it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, as a holiday, all the kids are out of school. So for parents, you don't have to worry about pulling the kids out of class today. You can still take part in all the other MLK parade that happened over the weekend as well. So this event is something you can take the kids to and get out here. The weather, we could not ask for a better weather day. It started off, Tyler was telling us, in the low 30s this morning. When I got into the car, I was thinking, sure hope it warms up for that inauguration. It actually has pretty nicely here, but supposed to get from the 60s today. But by the time we get to that parade at noon, it might be time to pull off the
People will be
fleece.
shedding some layers, for sure.
Get that big coat off.
So we heard the flyover earlier. You can hear the music from the band. The dignitaries will be slowly filing, and you can see them coming down now on that beautiful red carpet in front of the state capitol. So many people being sworn in. Obviously, Governor Kay Ivey, Agriculture Commissioner Rick Pate, State Treasurer Young Boozer, Secretary of State Wes Allen, State Auditor Andrew Sorrell. The list goes on and on and on this morning for the inauguration ceremony.
We're getting a look at some of those dignitaries right now. Steve Marshall walking down the red carpet with his family there with him. And it's a fun time, too, to get to see the folks who were in the campaign and won the election, and now they get to see their family and their friends. I see that Rick Pate is being inaugurated by his two sons. So it really is a family affair for these guys and gals who've won the office, and it's a long, hard-fought battle. And today's the day they get to kind of enjoy the fruits of their labor and all that hard campaigning, and to get a chance to see their family here with them. I always love seeing the kids and the spouses, because we see the politicians' faces on TV all the time, but it's nice to see their family as well.
And this is Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth, his family coming down the red carpet, coming down those steps at the state capitol. Lieutenant governor position is such an important position. As many of you remember, Governor Kay Ivey was initially the lieutenant governor under Governor Robert Bentley at the time.
Yeah, Governor Kay Ivey, too, has quite a past and a trendsetter. She was the first Republican-elected treasurer since Reconstruction in 2002, so that means the first one since the 1870s. So she was treasurer in 2002, then again 2006. In 2010, she couldn't run for treasurer, so she ran for lieutenant governor, won that, and re-elected again in 2014 as the first Republican woman to hold that office. And in 2017, she took over the office when Robert Bentley had to resign from office, so she took over from 2017 until the 2018 election, won that election as well for governor, now re-elected. So she has held treasurer for 8 years, lieutenant governor for 8 years, and it'll be governor now for 9 years at the end of this term, because she served that 1 year where Robert Bentley had to step down.
The entire crowd standing now as the governor standing there at the top of the Capitol, dressed in all white, getting ready to walk down as well and take her place there as she is re-sworn in as governor of Alabama. Again, like we said, she was initially lieutenant governor. You said she's a, quote, trendsetter. I'm sure she would love to hear that, but there she goes walking down the steps as we get ready for this inauguration ceremony. Obviously, she will take the oath of office, but she will be
getting a good look from a distance there, and I can actually see way down the street some folks are probably already lining up and getting a good spot for that parade.
All the pomp and circumstance here this morning for inauguration ceremony. The governor slowly making her way down, waving at the crowd as she inches down those steps here at the state capitol for this inauguration Monday, this MLK Monday, like you said, a holiday. So a lot of people out and about in general this morning coming to see the governor, and so many people take the oath of office here.
Here's how it's going to work, too, once the inauguration starts. Again, once it gets underway, we are going to be quiet and let you listen in for the next hour and a half or so. There'll be the presentation of colors. That's set to happen around 10:07 this morning. The National Guard will perform the state song. After that will be followed by the national anthem sung by Worth the Wait. And then after that's over, we will have Dr. Kyle Searcy with the invocation at the podium. And after that, we will see these state officers sworn into office and officially take office.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of them with the Bible, hand held up, hand over their heart. It's an emotional day, even for the people who are resworn in, because this is when they officially take that oath of office. They talk about their vows to our state, to the people here in our state.
We have board members of the State Board of Education, Public Service Commission as well, and also the two different public service commissioners being sworn in, so numerous state offices being sworn in.
We're slowly listening as they're reading off names. Everyone taking their place here this morning outside in front of the Capitol. And like you said, Judd, as soon as it officially starts, we'll stop and let them get started.
We did have a nice flyover from the 187th Fighter Wing. The F-16 4 jets flew overhead, and I just saw about maybe 3 or 4 minutes ago, 2 of them kind of peel back the other way, heading back to go back to home base right there. But it was a great way to start off an event, patriotic way. We will have the national anthem and a prayer coming up in just a few minutes, and they will get to hear from the people who are elected to these state positions. Many of them, like we've mentioned before, have held that office before, but some are brand new to the office. It has to be a special day for those folks and their families to be here for the first time, and this is, I mean, it's a big production and a big deal.
It is. They're getting ready now, they said, to do the presentation of the colors, and they're giving you just an idea of what you can expect this morning here for the ceremony.
All right, we will begin to listen in right now as they're getting this ceremony underway, and of course keep it right here on WSFA 12 News. We will have continuous coverage of the entire inauguration ceremony. Once that wraps up, we will kind of break down what happened and give you a little recap, and then get ready for this year's inauguration parade as well. More than 60 entries in the parade this year, lots of bands, lots of schools as well. So let's listen in.
dawn's early light, what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets break a lair, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please remain standing as Dr. Kyle Searcy, pastor of Fresh Anointing House of Worship in Montgomery, delivers our invocation.
On this day, as we celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, we also inaugurate the 54th governor of the state of Alabama, Governor Kay Ivey. Our prayer is that as we continue to fight for righteousness and justice, that God would be with us. So let's bow our heads in a word of prayer. Our Father, in the name of Jesus, we come before you. And God, we ask that your hand would rest on this state of Alabama. We pray that you would grant us peace, safety, and prosperity. We pray that your wisdom and insight would reign greater than ever before. God, we ask that we have discernment to be positioned the way you need us positioned in this hour. Give us courage and strength to do the right thing at the right time. Father, may there be an uncommon unity among the state. May we dwell together in peace and safety. Would you give us the grace to overcome every evil that comes our way? Be it a storm or other issues that we deal with, God, give us the grace to rise. May we be positioned on the front stage in economic development, in prosperity, in righteousness, in justice, in glorifying your name. Father, as it says in Isaiah 40:31, but they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. May that be Alabama's picture. May that be our story. May we rise with wings of an eagle. May we run and not be weary. May we walk and not faint. Would you give this administration strength, courage, wisdom? Lend them your heart. Let them see what you see. Open their eyes to your eyes. Let them lean on your strength. Cause us to have our best days in the future. Let our glory days be ahead for the state of Alabama. And let your blessing be upon this occasion. We ask it in the precious name of Jesus. We thank you for answering. Amen.
Please be seated. We now call our elected officials forward to take their oath of office. For the office of the State Board of Education, Marie Manning, Dr. Wayne Reynolds, Dr. Yvette Richardson, Tracy West. The oath will be administered by Chief Justice Thomas F. Parker.
I want to ask all of you to raise your hand to heaven, your right hand, as you take your oath of office. And repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Tracy West,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
so long as I remain a citizen thereof.
so long as I remain a citizen thereof,
And that I will faithfully and honestly
and that I will faithfully and honestly
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter
of the office upon which I am about to enter
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
For the office of Public Service Commissioner, Place 1, Jeremy Oden. The oath will be administered by Judge John Garner.
Congratulations, Commissioner. You will raise your right hand, place your left hand on the Bible, and repeat after me. I, Jeremy H. Oden,
I, Jeremy H. Oden,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof.
so long as I continue a citizen thereof.
And I will faithfully and honestly discharge the duties
I will faithfully and honestly discharge the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter,
of the office of which I'm about to enter,
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
For the office of Public Service Commissioner, Place 2, Chip Beaker. The oath will be administered by Judge John Garner.
Congratulations, Commissioner. Thank you, sir. You will raise your right hand, place your left hand on the Bible, and repeat after me. I, Chip Beaker,
I, Chip Beaker,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof.
so long as I continue a citizen thereof.
And I will faithfully and honestly discharge the duties
And I will faithfully and honestly discharge the duty
of the office upon which I'm about to enter,
of the office of which I am about to enter,
to the best of my ability,
to the
so help
best
me
of my
God.
ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Thank you, Commissioner. Congratulations.
For the office of Commissioner of Agriculture and Industries, Rick Pate. The oath will be administered by his sons, Richard Pate and James Pate.
raise your right hand. I, Richard Stewart Pate,
I, Richard Stewart Pate,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
and that I will faithfully and honestly discharge the duties
and I will faithfully and honestly discharge the duties
of the Office of Commissioner of Agriculture and Industries
of the Office of Commissioner of Agriculture and Industries
upon which I am about to enter
upon which I'm about to enter
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
For the office of State Treasurer, Young Boozer, the oath will be administered by Judge Jim Main.
Raise your right hand, put your left hand on the Bible.
Yes, sir.
And answer exactly what
I'll do my best.
All right. I, Young Boozer, solemnly swear.
I, Young Boozer, solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of the State of Alabama.
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
so long as I continue to be a citizen thereof.
so long as I continue to be a citizen thereof.
And that I will faithfully and honestly discharge the duties
I will faithfully and honestly discharge the duties
of the office that I am about to enter
of the office I'm about to enter
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Good morning, Alabama. Today is Inauguration Day, but to me, it's more like Thanksgiving. Here's why. There are thanks to be given and givings to be acknowledged. I'm thankful for you, the citizens of the state of Alabama. 3 times you have chosen me to be your treasurer. I am honored. I love my job. I know the best way to thank you, all of you, by county. To the people of Jefferson, Mobile, Montgomery, Otago, Baldwin, Barber, Bibb, Blunt, Bullock, Butler, Calhoun, Chambers, Cherokee, Chilton, Choctaw, Clark, Clay, Claiborne, Coffee, Colbert, Conecuh, Coosa, Covington, Crunchia, Dale, Dallas, DeKalb, Elmore, Escambia, Etowah, Fayette, Franklin, Geneva, Greene, Hale, Henry, Houston, Jackson, Lamar, Lauderdale, Lawrence, Lee, Limestone, Lowndes, Macon, Madison, Marengo, Marion, Marshall, Monroe, Morgan, Perry, Pickens, Pike, Randolph, Russell, Shelby, St. Clair, Sumter, Talladega, Tallapoosa, Tuscaloosa, Walker, Washington, Wilcox, and Winston. Some other groups need to be mentioned and thanked. My family and friends, the incomparable Treasury office staff, everyone who works here in the Capitol, from guards to governor. Thank you. Special thanks goes to one individual, the one and only Governor Kay Ivey. She honored me by appointing me treasurer in 2021 to complete John McMillan's term. Thank you, Governor Ivey. Now for the giving part of today. You have given me the privilege and the opportunity to serve you. I'm lucky to be able to use my education, my business experience, my government experience to give value to the state of Alabama. Many know my personal philosophy is do the right thing, do it the right way, and do it right away. Everything in our office is done based on those words. And let me remind you that we invest billions and make hundreds of millions of dollars for the state of Alabama. Recently, I was in Philadelphia. I met a man who portrayed Ben Franklin. He knew all of Ben Franklin's famous quotes. A penny saved is a penny earned. That's one of my favorites. Should be as the treasurer, I guess. But he taught me a new one that fits right into our philosophy. Well done is better than well said. Let me repeat that. Well done is better than well said. I get the point. It is better to over-deliver than over-promise. The Treasurer's Office will continue to do what needs to be done, and it will be well done. And with that pledge to you this morning, I am done. Thank you very much. May God bless you, the state of Alabama, and the United States.
So obviously I didn't know I was supposed to come right over here and speak, and nobody told me. But anyway, I'll be real brief. But I was just sworn in as Commissioner of Agriculture. If you don't remember, it was a couple minutes ago. But anyway, I did. If it shows that we're here 4 years ago, I said to my lovely wife, Julie, that day, that just happened to be our 30th wedding anniversary, and I said, you know, I did all this for you, and I don't know that I can top it in 4 years. And so 2 days ago, the 14th, was our wedding anniversary, so it's not actually today this year, but I got up that morning, and I was reading. She walked through the house, and I said, "Happy anniversary, honey." And she goes, "Oh, yeah, same to you." So we kind of lost a little bit of that edge. That 30th year was huge, though. But anyway, I'm so honored to be here. It's such a privilege to serve as Commissioner of Agriculture. I told Governor Ivey, I was on a podium with her and President Roberts from Auburn, and I said, what are the odds that the three people with the three best jobs in Alabama are on a podium together? And I feel that way. Being Commissioner of Agriculture is such a great and wonderful job and responsibility. And so, but anyway, I thank you so much. And my family and I are humbled by this opportunity. Thank you.
For the office of Secretary of State, Wes Allen. The oath will be administered by Judge Ben Bowden.
I state your name.
I, Wes Allen,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
so long as I continue
so long as I continue
a citizen thereof,
a citizen thereof,
and that I will faithfully and honestly
and I will faithfully and honestly
discharge the duties
of
the office of the Secretary of State of Alabama,
of the office of Secretary of State of Alabama,
upon which I'm about to enter,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
Good morning. As I stand here before you, the people of the great state of Alabama, I'm filled with gratitude that you have elected me as your Secretary of State. I'm reminded of Luke 12:48. Everyone to whom much was given, of him much will be required. And from him to whom they entrusted much, they will demand more. Those words will guide me as I strive each day to serve the citizens of our great state. I wish each of you could have seen what I saw in each of our 67 counties. School teachers going the extra mile for their students, caregivers working hard to provide and care for those who can no longer care for themselves, law enforcement putting their lives on the line, and small business owners devoting every ounce of energy to make their American dream come true. Alabamians are devoted to making this state the best it can be for generations to come. Alabama is the place that grows the food that feeds us, builds the missiles that defend us, trains the military men and women who protect us, and offers an environment where business thrives. And as I work to serve the hardworking men and women across our state, I will never forget that the people of Alabama have entrusted me to help their family, friends, and neighbors as they embark on their journey to achieve the American dream. We are blessed to live in a nation where the impossible is probable.
And in Alabama, we make turning the impossible into a reality look easy. We live in a state that builds the machines that travel into space, and on Alabama's southern shore, we build some of the finest naval vessels in the world. And in the Wiregrass, we construct some of the most advanced missile weaponry on the planet. In Alabama, George Washington Carver unlocked the power of the peanut, and now its Alabama farmers are some of the most advanced in the world. So when you sit down to a meal tonight, remember those farmers who don't take a day off for bad weather or holidays, who don't rest until the job gets done. Those are the people that feed America. And right now in small towns all over this state, people are dreaming and planning. They're working to make their dream of owning a business a reality. And I'm honored that I have been entrusted to assist them, even in the smallest way, through our Business Services Division. And as I work to ensure that our elections are the safest, most secure, and fairest in the nation, I will always remember that the Elections Administration that we undertake within the walls of the Secretary of State's office are not minor, everyday tasks. They are instead the bedrock of our constitutional republic and must be treated as such. I look forward to working with local officials around our state as we conduct Alabama elections accurately and fairly. Men and women have sacrificed their lives to protect our nation, our Constitution, and our right to hold free and fair elections, and I do not take that lightly. And finally, I will never forget that I work for the people of this state and not the other way around. When I served as probate judge in Pike County, I remember a gentleman came into my office late one afternoon. He's a small business owner. He walked in. He'd been working out since daylight. We talked through what he needed and got his courthouse business taken care of, and I walked him out. And as he left, I came back into my office and noticed that there was mud on the floor from his boots. So I got to reflecting about what that mud represents. That mud represents hard work. It represents all those people that get up each and every day and work hard to provide for their families. And it represents all those taxpayers that pay the taxes that fund government. The people that earn their living by working hard and getting mud on their boots. That's who I work for. I'm Wes Allen. I look forward to making you proud as your Secretary of State, and I've never been so honored to work for anybody in all my life. Thank you, and God bless you.
Office of State Auditor, Andrew Sorrell. The oath will be administered by his father, Dennis Sorrell.
You'll place your left hand upon the Bible and raise your right hand as you take your oath of office. I, Andrew Sorrell, solemnly swear.
I, Andrew Sorrell, solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of Alabama.
And the Constitution of the State of Alabama.
So long as I continue to be a citizen thereof.
So long as I continue to be a citizen thereof.
And that I will faithfully and honestly.
And that I will faithfully and honestly.
Discharge the duties of the office.
Discharge the duties of the office.
Upon which I am about to enter.
Upon which I am about to enter.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, son.
Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose." This is the verse my great-grandfather, Matthew Thomas Sorrell, wrote in the front of his Bible when he headed off to Moody Bible Institute in Chicago in about 1920. Little did he know that 100 years later, his great-grandson would be sworn in as the 41st auditor of Alabama on that same Bible. My grandfather also became a preacher and moved to Warren, Michigan. Likewise, my father went into the ministry and spent time in California and Wisconsin before being called to a little church in Muscle Shoals, Alabama when I was 6 years old. After 3 generations of preachers, I surprised everyone in my family by getting into politics. I asked my dad to administer the oath of office to me today out of a deep love and respect that I have for my parents and the way they raised me. We were raised in church. We were raised to work hard. We were taught to be good stewards of our money, and we were taught to vote every time the polls were open. My wife was raised the same way by her parents, who moved to Alabama 5 years ago after Hannah and I were married. Without the support of my wife and family, I would not be standing here today. In fact, when I ran for state representative in 2018, Hannah knocked 11,000 doors with me over the course of a year. 15 months ago, we were blessed with the birth of our first child. And my wife and I love liberty and freedom so much, we named our daughter Liberty. Now we look forward to the birth of our second child on June 8th this year. I also owe a debt of gratitude to my campaign staff, Emily Hunter and Brittany Montgomery, for all they did over the course of the last 18 months, going above and beyond to help this campaign. To those who volunteered, donated, and voted for me, to you I say thank you. To those who did not vote for me, I hope to earn your vote in the future by giving this position the effort and attention it deserves. I want the State Auditor's Office to be something we can be proud of. Members of the legislature, I look forward to working with you on legislation to expand the duties and responsibilities of this office to achieve greater levels of accountability and transparency in government. I will visit with you this spring to lay out a vision for what this office could be, and I ask for an open mind and an honest discussion on this request, not for my sake, but for the sake of 5 million Alabamians who I believe we could serve better. Speaking of service, serving as a state representative for the last 4 years was a true honor. The Latin phrase of the House, vox populi, means voice of the people. I tried to be a voice for the people of House District 3 in Montgomery. Alabama's motto is, we dare defend our rights. I fought to defend your Second Amendment rights, working alongside Representative Shane Stringer and Senator Gerald Allen to ensure passage of constitutional carry, because I don't believe you should have to purchase your constitutional rights back from your state government. I worked with Senator Orr and others to pass civil asset forfeiture reform in 2021. And I earned a reputation as a strong fiscal conservative, a trait that will serve me well in the State Auditor's Office as we seek to eliminate government waste through loss or theft of state property. To the residents of this great state, today I make you several promises. We will track the $1.3 billion worth of taxpayer property and hold those accountable who steal from you. We will be responsive to your emails and phone calls. And I will take great care to appoint Board of Registrars members who will be professional, hardworking, and who will ensure election integrity, because trust in elections is the bedrock of a constitutional republic. I will do these duties to the best of my ability, so help me God. Thank you, Alabama.
For the office of Attorney General, Steve Marshall. The oath will be administered by Judge Mitch Floyd.
Place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I, Stephen Troy Marshall.
I, Stephen Troy Marshall.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of Alabama.
And the Constitution of the State of Alabama.
So long as I continue a citizen thereof.
So long as I continue a citizen thereof.
That I will faithfully and honestly.
And I will faithfully and honestly.
Discharge the duties of the office.
Discharge the duties of the office.
Of Attorney General of Alabama.
Of Attorney General of Alabama.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Attorney General.
Thank you. Governor Ivey, distinguished guests, my fellow Alabamians. In 2011, a group of Republican attorneys general banded together to battle what they believed was the greatest federal overreach of their time, Obamacare. They called themselves the last line of defense against an out-of-control federal government, a description that now defines the duties of a conservative attorney general. When I consider the weightiness of being your last line of defense, two military illustrations come to mind. The Roman army was one of the most powerful and masterful armies the world has ever seen. Its legions were the backbone of the Roman Empire. And in Roman warfare, the triarii were the legion's last line of defense. They were the veteran soldiers with the very best equipment. They were the legion's last available line. If the triarii were called upon, it was a sign that the decisive moment in battle had come. In World War II, the Rhine River was known to be Germany's last line of defense against invasion from the West. To finish off the Nazis, the Allied troops needed to cross in and secure that portion of German land. But no invading army had been able to cross since Napoleon in 1805. Yet on the night of March 22nd of 1945, General George S. Patton gathered his troops and he quietly went across, eventually capturing 19,000 demoralized German troops and initiating the Allies' advance into central Germany. Their last line having fallen, the Germans surrendered just a few weeks later. There have been key moments over the last 6 years where I've had to ask myself, what kind of Attorney General was I going to be? One who could be counted on for strength at the time of a decisive moment in battle, or one who would be quietly defeated at the height of conflict? And though I've had the fortune for fighting for you far away from a bloodstained battlefield, there is no doubt in my mind that the Alabama Attorney General's office has been that last line of defense for Alabama in the biggest legal battles of its time. And we have not backed down. Because since I last stood here in January of 2019, we have fought the fights that had to be fought for the people of Alabama. I took on opioids. And with a personal axe to grind, I refused to participate in a nationwide opioid settlement because I wanted to make sure Alabama got what it deserved. Over $300 million that we can now use to combat the pain and suffering that opioids have caused in our state. I have fought for law enforcement and stood with prosecutors and victims as we've addressed the failures that have caused our state to be less safe. I have fought for the fundamental right of Alabamians to make a personal choice about the COVID vaccine and for religious liberty to mean something here, defeating both the Biden administration and greedy corporate interests. I have fought to preserve our election laws and our congressional maps against those who would ask us to delegate that sovereignty to a federal court. And I have fought for life alongside Mississippi and the United States Supreme Court. And the Dobbs decision overturning Roe versus Wade will remain one of my proudest accomplishments. And I'm fighting the far-left gender ideology of the Biden administration to defend our law prohibiting dangerous experimentation on our children that's being challenged by the United States Department of Justice. And frankly, Merrick Garland needs to pack up and get out of here. These are some of the many victories that we celebrate. But we know that the war rages on across our nation to subvert our traditions and our values. Those targets including our children, our schools, our families, our communities, and our governments. If we are to win this fight and to preserve everything that Alabama holds so dear, we can't sit back and rest on our defenses. We must have a united front line that's advancing our cause, not just defending it. And that front line is you. Because in our Republican government, it's the people who hold the power. The officers of our government answer to you, and they have only one and only one duty. That is to serve your will, the will of the people. In 1932, Alabama emblazoned her coat of arms with these words, which were adopted as our state motto, Audamus Jure Nostro Defendere, Latin for we dare defend our rights. As your Attorney General, as your last line, that motto has been my directive. My hope is that you will join me and make it your motto too. God bless you and thank you for allowing me to serve.
For the office of Lieutenant Governor, Will Ainsworth. The oath will be administered by Judge Christy Edwards.
What an honor it is to be administering this oath to you, my friend. You ready?
Yeah.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, William W. Ainsworth, do solemnly swear
I, William W. Ainsworth, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
and that I will faithfully and honestly discharge
and I will faithfully and honestly discharge
the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter,
the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you.
Governor Ivey, constitutional officers, lawmakers, judges, and my fellow Alabamians, allow me to begin my march today by thanking my family, my parents, Kendall's parents, my wonderful wife, Kendall, our awesome children, Hunter, Hayes, and Addie, whose love, support, and sacrifice allow me to serve our state. I love you all very much. Today is a day of celebration. We celebrate our freedoms. We celebrate our state's many blessings. And we celebrate that God has given us the privilege of calling ourselves Alabamians. Today is a day of looking ahead to all the promise that tomorrow holds. And is a day to recognize those unique qualities that make Alabama such a special place to live, work, worship, and raise families. As Lieutenant Governor for the past 4 years, I've made it my mission to promote workforce development so that every Alabamian who wants a good job can get a good job. We brought the dream of entrepreneurship and self-employment within the reach of average Alabamians by making it easier to own and successfully operate a small business with one of the nation's lowest tax burdens. We protected our military bases by making Alabama the most welcoming state in the country for active service members, dependents, and veterans. We've ensured access to long-lasting, well-paying 21st century jobs by supporting the Alabama aerospace industry that once launched men to the moon and are doing so again today. But we cannot rest on past glories, for there is much left to accomplish. The road before us is long, and our journey is not yet over. We must keep an eye towards the future, anticipate the needs of employers, both large and small, and prepare our workforce for the jobs of tomorrow. We must retain our best and brightest talent by attracting the jobs and opportunities that allow our children, our grandchildren, and their children after them to work, to prosper, and succeed as never before right here in sweet home Alabama. We must ensure that the quality of our education our children receive isn't determined by the zip code in which they live. With the authorization and continuing expansion of charter schools and school choice across the state, we have given parents a measure of decision-making power over how their children are taught. But we must keep working to improve, reform, and fully fund the public education opportunities that Alabama provides. I believe Alabama must also be a nation's leader in preserving godly morals, promote traditional values, and practicing the patriotism that keeps our republic healthy. While more liberal states attempt to rewrite history with wrecking balls, and they thumb their nose at our freedoms and principles that have made our nation the greatest mankind has ever known, Alabamians continue to embrace our liberties with a fierceness that is unparalleled anywhere. We govern our state and live our daily lives by the words etched in our Alabama motto, "We dare defend our rights." So join with me today as we continue our journey together and pledge to take the very best of Alabama and make it even better. May God bless each of you. May God bless our beautiful state that all of us are proud to call home. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Starla Jones to perform God Bless America. For the oath of office for governor, Kay Ivey is joined by Kathy Randall and former Camden Mayor Max Baggett. The oath will be administered by Supreme Court Justice Will Sellers.
Governor Ivey, if you'd raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Kay Ivey,
I, Kay Ivey,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and honestly
discharge the duties
of the office of governor upon which I am about to enter, to the best of my ability, so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Governor.
Ladies and gentlemen, the governor of the great state of Alabama, Kay Ivey.
My fellow Alabamians, today, as we mark the start of a new chapter in our state government, we are reminded of how fortunate we are to call Alabama and the United States of America our home. 4 years ago, in this very spot, I said that our people are our greatest resource in the fabric that holds our state together during both our best days and the more difficult ones. Folks, standing here 4 years ago, I could never have imagined what was to come. But I am certain we came out stronger because of you, the good people of Alabama. Just a few days ago, our state was ravaged by tornadoes, stealing the lives of 7 of our fellow Alabamians. The one light in all of this darkness was our people. Folks all across our state are flocking to the aid of their neighbors hardest hit. Alabamians' love for each other prevails all, and I am confident we will come back stronger. I am truly honored by your overwhelming support. You elected me to serve as your governor for 4 more years, and that is a responsibility I do not take lightly. To my fellow constitutional officers, legislators, and other public servants, hear me loud and clear. We have a busy, productive, and full 4 years in front of us. Let us work together, and let's not waste a single moment. We will keep Alabama working, and as a team, we will ensure our best days are yet to come. Today is a time to celebrate for all Alabama is, for us to reflect on what we have accomplished, and most importantly, to plan for the future we're working towards. I'm truly grateful to this year's inaugural chairs for making today's historic event possible, as well as the many volunteers, law enforcement, and others who've lent a helping hand. We don't need to sugarcoat it. Right now, with the state of our nation, times are tough. An unprecedented pandemic has led to the federal government spending way above our means. And this has resulted in record high inflation, which means higher costs everywhere that you turn. Alabamians in every corner of our state stepped up in a real way when the pandemic halted how we live in our country. And now, as your governor, I'm doing everything in my power to step up for you and your families to provide meaningful and responsible assistance. Folks, we are living in what at moments feels like an unreal time. When I was a young girl growing up in Camden, I could never have imagined the world we live in today. Never would I have thought that the day we elect a female governor and a female United States senator, we would also have to fight for our girls to have a fair chance when they compete in sports. Over my lifetime, and especially during my years of public service, I've come to know that the people of Alabama will never compromise our values. I believe our Alabama values make us who we are. And as your governor, I am proud of who we are. And I will always protect what we believe in, never forgetting our roots. And as we look ahead to a future filled with opportunity and great possibility, I pledge we will build on our roots by focus on getting the hard work done today, while never forgetting that our work now matters most to our future generations. I believe we have more in common than that which divides us. We all want Alabama to be the best place to live. We want our people working, and we want our children to receive a high-quality education. To put it simply, we want to continue seeing more of our Alabama common sense. No doubt much of our current success is a direct result of reaching across the aisle and working together for the betterment of our state. We are making improvements to our roads and bridges in all 67 counties, as well as to the Port of Mobile. We are moving forward in constructing new prisons, while also continuing to make productive and reasonable reforms to our criminal justice system. We are making mental health care a priority with the addition of 6 new crisis centers. We have put a renewed focus on the fundamentals in education and are beginning to see tangible results. Speaking of results, over 61,000 more Alabama households and businesses will now have broadband access. Since I've been governor, thanks to the work of the Alabama legislature, we have cut well over $500 million in taxes. That relief has helped everyone from our middle class to our farmers, to our small businesses, to our first-time home buyers, and even to those who are looking to adopt. We have reached the lowest unemployment rate in our state's history, multiple times over. We have more good-paying jobs available today than at any other point before. I'm proud to report today that since I've been governor, we have seen business investments in our state totaling $40 billion. And this $40 billion has created some 73,000 new jobs. And I assure y'all, we are not done yet. The core issues, the everyday issues, are what will continue to be at the top of my agenda for the next 4 years. Ensuring every Alabama student receives a high-quality education will be my #1 focus. We will build upon the foundation we have laid so that by the end of my term, Alabama will rank in the top 30 states for the first time in our history in reading and math. But in order to be first, we have to continue to move up. Here in Alabama, we support, in fact, we encourage our parents to be involved in their children's educational journeys from birth and on through their pre-K through high school experiences. Let me be clear. Parents are crucial to a student's success. And parents, we want your input and your involvement in our schools. We must encourage our children to open books during their earliest developmental stages. That is why we will partner with Dolly Parton's Imagination Library to ensure that every Alabamian can receive books directly to their homes each month after they are born until 5 years of age. As your governor, I also support a parent being able to decide what is best for their own child's education. We need to have meaningful discussions about school choice in Alabama, and I believe that begins with making needed reforms to our charter school option. We cannot let our students continue to struggle and rob them of a chance to achieve their dreams. I pledge to you that we will no longer accept the existence of a failing elementary school in our state. The two major components are ensuring we improve the way we teach and that we ensure our students continue to learn at a high level. This week, I will sign an executive order to establish the Alabama Commission on Teaching and Learning. This group of folks will have boots on the ground and help us advise us on big changes we can make to recruit, retain, and prepare the teacher of tomorrow. I'm proud to be the second female governor of Alabama, having personally helped Governor Lurleen Wallace get elected in 1967. I'm also proud to be the second governor from Wilcox County. In 1931, fellow Wilcox County native Governor Benjamin Miller said in his inaugural address, "No state is great without great men and women, great in mind, great in heart, and great in principles. To secure such men and women, the education of our children is imperative." That statement is still very true and very relevant 92 years later. In 2017, I promised my administration would be open, honest, and transparent. I recommit to you today. We will continue striving to make good on that promise. We will make much needed reforms to ensure our state government works more efficiently, is more accountable, and works with more transparency. We will tighten up government. For example, we will reduce burdens holding back our businesses and will cut regulations by 25% over the next 2 years. The bottom line is we want a government that better serves the people of Alabama. Both your state and federal government will be responsible as we invest in broadband access, making it this generation's modern-day electricity. Just recently, I announced the development of one of the most comprehensive high-speed development networks, broadband networks in the country that will result in access in every corner of our state for homes, schools, hospitals, police departments, and businesses. Mark my word, Alabama will be a national model when it comes to broadband, and I'm committed to working towards our state having full ability to be connected to high-speed internet. So no matter where you live in Alabama, you will be connected. A primary function of all levels of government is to keep our citizens safe. My administration will always have public safety at the forefront. We will back the blue, and that also means we will continue standing behind the men and women who serve our state as corrections officers. We will make reforms to protect those who wear the badge, as well as put a stop to any bad policies that are not in the best interest of public safety. Just last week, I signed an executive order to ensure violent criminals remain off the streets. We must do everything we can to ensure we will never again lose Alabamians like Bibb County Deputy Brad Johnson to a man who never should have been out of prison in the first place. Here in Alabama, we always stand ready to support the defense of our great nation. We salute the many servicemen and women as well as the veterans who came before them. The U.S. military presence in Alabama makes our state vital to our nation's defense. With Space Command coming to Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville and the F-35 fighter jets coming to the 187th here in Montgomery, it's safe to say that our military is thriving across the state and making significant impacts far beyond our borders. In addition to our active military men and women, we have a civilian workforce in our defense industry who are integral, not just to our own country, but also to our allies. Just look at the missiles Ukraine received from our own Troy, Alabama. I believe this is a prime example of the far reach of the Made in Alabama brand. When it comes to incentivizing business and industry to grow in Alabama, we will build on the massive success we've experienced by renewing the Jobs Act and growing Alabama. We will craft an economic development strategy for the 2030s today. And while there is still uncertainty in today's national economic climate, creating stability in our economy will be key. And I promise you, we have a winning game plan here at home. We will continue to be a champion for our existing companies while making sure we secure high-paying jobs and develop and recruit the talent needed to fill current and future jobs in our state. We will work to be innovative, and my desire is that when someone anywhere in the world is in need, they should look no further than our sweet home, Alabama. We will apply our values and talents to solve our nation's challenges through research, development, and new business startups. We will make sure that everyone knows Alabama is not just a great place to visit, but that it's also a great place to locate a business and raise a family. A place that is rooted in our values and unlimited in our opportunities. Folks, we have people coming from all over flocking to Alabama, where common sense and opportunity abound. People are coming here in record numbers to further their education, to work an in-demand job, and even to retire. Truly, Alabama has something to offer everyone, and we will continue pressing on our mission to expand opportunities and make sure our state is the best place to live, work, and raise a family. In just 2 years, we will have passed the first quarter of this century. And during the next 4 years, we will also be celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Every single day, we are surrounded by our history. In fact, it was in this very place, in the heart of downtown Montgomery, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called for equality for all. It is my hope we can embrace our history and be able to fully explain to every child how exceptional our country is today, while also embracing what lies ahead throughout the rest of this century. Like all of you, I am proud to be an Alabamian, and I believe we have a great story to tell. Let's work together to get things done and focus on the hard work of good government. Let's be thoughtful and not brash. I stated earlier that we have a full 4 years in front of us. Let me offer this reminder to my fellow elected officials. The people of Alabama deserve our very best. Future generations of Alabamians deserve our hardest work today. So let us not forget, our service cannot be about the next election. It is about serving the people of our state, giving them what they need and deserve from their government. Let's harness our efforts for the good of the people of our state, the working moms, the fourth grader aspiring to be an engineer, our police officers, nurses, small business owners, our farmers, our servicemen and women, our veterans, and every hard-working Alabamian across all corners of our state. We will not relent where we have success, but instead we will build upon that foundation. It is the highest honor of my life to serve as your governor. I commit to you today I will work hard over the next 4 years to build on our roots so we can address our long-standing challenges, further progress, and prepare for the future. Thank you all for entrusting us with your state government. And it is indeed your state government. I assure you, our best days are still ahead. May God continue to bless each of you and the great state of Alabama.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand or remain standing as Dr. J. Wolf, Pastor Emeritus at First Baptist Church, Montgomery, delivers our benediction.
Governor Ivey, it is a great honor to participate in your historic third inauguration. But it's even a greater honor to be your pastor and friend for over 25 years. I love you, appreciate you, and admire you. Let's complete this great event by looking to Jesus' greatest commandment. He called us to love the Lord our God with all our heart, mind, and soul, and then love our neighbor as we love ourselves. With this ultimate objective and focus, let's join our hearts in prayer. Gracious and almighty Heavenly Father, we thank you again for Governor Kay Ivey. She has been your faithful servant for decades. Help her to continue serving you effectively in the future. Governor Ivey has proven to be a wise, compassionate, unifying, and effective leader. Lord, you've guided Governor Ivey to be a humble person who knows your word and seeks to do your will and your work. Your word is crystal clear. You expect us to demonstrate our love for you by sincerely and practically loving others. Lord, we make you a sacred promise to serve as your Alabama version of a Good Samaritan who ministers to our neighbors as we act with integrity, mercy, and humility. Governor Ivey has been a true public servant by practicing these virtues every day in every way. Father, continue to protect and guide our governor. Help the citizens of our state to follow her leadership as we walk in harmony with you and with each other. We claim your promise to supply all of our needs according to your riches and glory in Christ Jesus. Supply Governor Ivey with extra measures of strength, wisdom, good counsel, courage, and peace. Assist Governor Ivey to lead our state to unparalleled times of progress, prosperity, and productivity fused with personal responsibility. Let her leadership produce as many victories as Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide. Father, as we conclude this sacred ceremony of inaugurating Governor Kay Ivey, we acknowledge that we are all ultimately and eternally accountable to you. One day we will enter the transfer portal of death and stand before you. Help us to have sanctified common sense, to motivate us to love you and live for you, so that when we stand before you, we will hear you say, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of heaven." Until then, Lord, we promise to serve you and our neighbors with our best. I offer this prayer in the name of Jesus, my Savior and King of everything. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude the inaugural ceremony, please remain standing as the colors are retired. Thank you for being part of this historic event. Governor Kay Ivey invites you to continue with the inaugural parade, which will begin shortly.
All right, you're watching live coverage of Inauguration 2023 as the state officers sworn into office officially here in downtown Montgomery. Just the start of really the festivities day, Jasmine. Of course, they mentioned that parade is coming up probably about 30 to 40 minutes as they clean up some of these chairs and things behind us to get that parade going to the other end of Dexter Avenue. I can already see, I'm cheating here. I can see some participants coming down Monroe Street right there, going to loop around all the way down Monroe, then come down Perry, and then come down Dexter Avenue. We have reporters stationed all up and down Dexter Avenue for that parade.
The start of some ceremonies, but the end of the official inauguration festivities, or at least this ceremony, just wrapped up here. Governor Kay Ivey spoke. Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth. Governor Ivey spoke a lot about what she's done so far, her track record. She talked about mental health. She talked about education. She even mentioned those deadly tornadoes that we saw in our state, saying that she knows that our communities will come back even stronger. And she said she's proud to be a part of our state history, one of the first female governors being re-sworn in. She mentioned Lurleen Wallace and being a part of her campaign team so many years ago, and just an honor to be here again today in front of the state capitol.
The 54th governor of the state of Alabama, and she has kind of a unique honor, being inaugurated 3 times. In 2017, she took over and Governor Robert Bentley had to step down, and she has now done it twice as being elected to a 4-year term. Another thing she hit on pretty strongly was education in Alabama. She talked about establishing the Commission on Teaching and Learning, and this commission here will recruit, retain, and prepare teachers of tomorrow. Education, something very important for all Alabamans, and she wants to continue to push that. Also touched on charter schools and making sure that Alabamans have access to all those kinds of charter schools that are out there, and providing more opportunities, more charter schools for the people out there in the state of Alabama. She also hit on some things like backing the blue and supporting corrections officers, something very important, that we protect the people who are protecting us, and that means finding some of those rules and laws that are not in the best interest of public safety, and finding some other way to do it to better protect the people who protect us every day. She says we have a great story to tell in Alabama, and Governor Ivey always provides a lot of energy up there, and you can tell she's kind of battling some congestion or something, that coughing a little bit. She still always provides a lot of energy.
I chuckled a little bit during the benediction. The pastor mentioned, we're going to be like the Crimson Tide. We're always going to come back and win, and that's always, Governor Ivey mentions football a lot in her speeches, so it was funny and nice to hear them.
That's her pastor, but she's an Auburn grad, so she's probably like, hey, easy now, easy now.
But she's proud of our
Yes,
state
she
for many
is.
reasons, especially for football here in our state. She talks a lot about that, and she talked again a lot about education, choice, charter schools, giving parents the choice to choose what schools their children attend and how they attend them, how they learn, and just really making sure that families have options. She talked a lot about families this morning during her speech and her remarks.
And she told folks out there on both sides of the aisle, be ready for a busy, productive, and full 4 years in front of us, and really hit on working together. And that's always a key here at the State House and the Capitol, is both parties working together to get things done so they can be passed. And we have, like we mentioned before, up and down Dexter Avenue, we have reporters stationed all up and down Dexter. Our Bethany Davis is we can't even see her from here. She's way down there, down by Perry Street and the fountains. Let's check you with WSFA 12 News reporter Bethany Davis. And Bethany, we're kind of cheating here. We can see the parade ongoers coming down Monroe. Are they getting close to you, the start of that parade? Are they ready to go?
Well, you're kind of getting a little sneak peek there from where you are. We can't see each other at all. I'm a solid, not quite a half mile away from you, but almost. It's about a half mile from the bottom of the stairs of the Capitol all the way to the fountain at the bottom of Dexter. But this is supposed to be, this corner of Dexter and Perry Street, the official start of the parade. So we understand that all of the participants gathered at Crampton Bowl and made their way down Monroe Street, which is just a block over from Dexter Avenue. And they're going to make their way up Perry Street, coming right towards us before they make a turn and head all the way up that hill, that about a half mile climb up to the Capitol. First up in the parade, of course, is going to be Governor Kay Ivey, and then she'll be followed up by her alma mater band, the Auburn University Marching Band, and then Miss Auburn University. And then we'll see some of the other elected officials, Lieutenant Governor, the Secretary of State, the State Treasurer. All of them will also be involved in the parade, along with a number of other college marching bands. University of Alabama is scheduled to perform, University of South Alabama, Troy, Alabama A&M, and several high school bands will be here as well. So a lot of people are starting to gather in this area right here because, when you have somebody in a parade, you always want to be there and to support them and to see them. So we are expecting that to come around this corner pretty soon. I did hear that perhaps there was somebody a little bit out of order, so they might have to be doing some rearranging, some last-minute rearranging real quick in order to get this thing started. But they told us it was going to be about 20 to 30 minutes from the end of the official inauguration ceremony to the official start of the inauguration parade. So we hope we'll see some of those folks coming around the corner anytime.
Yeah, you scared me. I'm usually the one who's out of order, so that wasn't me we're talking about, which is good to hear right there. Bethany, thank you. We'll check back in with her at the other end of Dexter down there. But before we move on to, got to give a shout out to the Worth the Wait who did the national anthem. They were spectacular.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, they were
really
excellent there. So to the ladies, young ladies who are part of that group, we really do appreciate getting things started off in true good old patriotic fashion.
Yes, they were beautiful. The National Guard band's been here all morning, and they sound amazing as well. And we're going to hear so much more music, so many bands coming out for this parade. Bethany already said that folks are lined up, but there were also people lined up at a distance to listen to the entire inauguration ceremony. WSFA 12 News anchor Sally Pitts was out here this entire time. Sally, you've been out with the crowd. What are you seeing and hearing?
First, I want to mention this music. It is great. It is definitely adding to the energy out here. And I will say the streets were pretty bare just before the ceremony began. There were just a handful of people lining Dexter Avenue, but you can see the crowd has certainly filled out over the last hour or so. There's some people, they've set up lawn chairs out there, wanted to make sure they got a great spot, a great view for the parade when it comes up Dexter Avenue here later. I imagine a lot of these people know someone in the parade, and they certainly want to see them and cheer them on when they come by. It's certainly an honor to be able to participate in this inaugural parade. It only happens once every 4 years. There are a number of families out here as well, and they have been here through the duration. They got here ahead of the ceremony. I spoke with one young family. You can see a mother and her young children over here from Boaz, Alabama. That's north of Birmingham, so quite a distance from here, and they just wanted to experience this day, experience this history. A lot of folks wanted to bring their children to set that example about public service and what it means to serve your community, to serve your state, to better the life of your neighbors. So see, a lot of folks are getting ready for that parade. It's set to start here in just a few minutes, and it will wind its way up Dexter Avenue. They've been behind these barricades. They had Dexter Avenue blocked off during the ceremony, but right now they've started to open the gates here, and I imagine folks will be able to file in and get a little closer to the steps of the state capitol as the parade gets underway. Judd and Jasmine.
All right, Sally, thank you for that. We'll check back in on Sally throughout the morning as well once that parade gets started. We do want to mention that if this were a baseball game, Ag Commissioner Rick Pate would have been called out. He batted out of order. You know, he forgot to come up and give his speech. So there were some humorous moments as well as he kind of missed his turn, and then young Booster came up, the treasurer, and he did his speech. And so Rick Pate came up and said,
Rick Pate was hilarious.
I missed my turn, but here I am. I'm the guy I remember before.
What I also loved about Rick Pate is his sons swore him in.
That was
cool. He had both of his sons up there, and they officially swore him in. And then he got out of order. I think he was a little emotional from that, so he got at least that's the excuse I'm giving. He got a little mixed up.
That's okay. He got his speech in, and he made us all laugh as well. Let's continue to check in with the reporters out there along Dexter Avenue. This is our political expert, our political reporter, Aaron Davis. And Aaron, you got a chance to listen to all the officers being sworn into those state offices. What are some of the things that hit with you were interested in hearing?
Yeah, Judd, it was really interesting, to hear how each of the different officers approached their swearing-in speech. You had, young Boozer, the state treasurer, go in and list all 67 counties just to say thank you, which was very impressive, might I add. And then you had Attorney General Steve Marshall being sworn in, and he really touted some of the things he says are his successes, such as the overthrowing of Roe v. Wade and how he's continuing to fight different cases that have to do with our state's congressional map. So he listed a lot of his successes, like I said. And then when the governor came up, she dropped two pretty major things that she announced. The first one had to do with education. Both of them did, as that's her number one priority. But that first one was the state now partnering with Dolly Parton's Imagination Library to really let kids have access to books at the earliest age possible. I know they'll be able to have those books until they're about 5 years old, which is a big part of her education push. And the other one was forming an executive commission that focuses on teachers and that teacher retention, because education leaders have said teachers really are like the backbone of our state's education system, and they're always wanting to give them bonuses or raises whenever they can. So I know that this commission that she's formed should really help with that and continue to help improve Alabama's education system, which I know is a major priority for the governor. In fact, today she even said it's her #1 priority continuing for these next 4 years. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out and how that plays out in the State House as well. When lawmakers come back in March, they'll of course be tasked with actually implementing some of these things that the governor and other leaders today were talking about, including state auditor, expanding that office. So all these state leaders have their own things they wanted to tout, but it all, ties together, and some of it, most of it, leads back to the State House. So I'll send it back to you, Judd and Jasmine.
All right, Aaron, don't go anywhere. That parade's going to start in just a little bit. We're going to check back with her in just a little bit. If you're thinking about coming out to the parade, you still got about 20 or 30 minutes till that starts. You can probably zip on out here. If you're wondering about, the weather was cold this morning.
I won't say zip just because of the road closures for sure.
Yeah, I've noticed our photographers down the street that were in parkas and beanies have now peeled those off. So
I had a really heavy jacket on that's sitting here on the side. So the layers are
turning out to be a pretty nice little afternoon. The sun is shining brightly. It's a beautiful day for an inauguration and a parade as well. So again, that parade's going to start. They're doing a great job too of quickly cleaning up all the chairs and all the wires and cords going across the street and all the barricades and fencing as well. So all that's getting cleaned up out there on the streets, and that parade will probably happen, I would guess, in less than 30 minutes. We can see a lot of participants coming down Monroe Street already.
Yeah, that parade will be starting soon at noon, and we're going to have more on that parade as we continue our inauguration coverage right here on WSFA.
WSFA 12 News coverage of the 2023 inauguration celebration, sponsored by Alpha Insurance and Southern Union State Community College.